Hi, everybody. It's Laurie Water, Director of Family Relations for All Points North Lodge, coming to you today for Therapy Thursday. I have a great guest today. I call it East Meets West since I'm in Jersey and he's out in California. Um, and I also have to say, I have my grandson with me from Florida, so I am just got my fingers crossed that I will actually get through this unscathed. I'm not sure that that will happen. But this is kind of all part of COVID, and every week I feel like there's another kind of COVID rationale. I see that Jordan is on, so he just needs to connect with the accept. Let me see if I could catch him this way. And we're just waiting for Jordan to pop on, one of my favorite humans. There he is.
Hi,
How are
Laurie.
you?
Good. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good. I'm so happy to see your face.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is, I don't know, I guess it's a great way just to bring everybody together a little bit. It feels like you're
hmm
much closer when you're on
Yeah.
here.
Well,
Um,
thanks for having me. This is my first Instagram live. It's actually the first time I've been on Instagram in probably 4 or 5 years. So I'm a little Insta rusty.
That's right. So, and I am still getting prepped every week on how to make this happen effectively.
Yeah.
But this is solely about just like checking in with people in the world that I care about. And I totally care about you guys. I mean, not just you, but the whole team at Pace and Rising Roads. And for people that don't know, that I worked with this team, so I know how amazing they are behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes. So it's good to see your face today.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm smiling ear to ear, and I think I would only accept this from you. So happy to be here. I see Jimmy Ham is here, and you can see at the bottom everyone
I
is
know it's
commenting, and
kind of
that's
cool.
yeah, yeah,
So, but I know that. So, I mean, of course, I love just having you. I also know that we have somebody that's going to your program. So I feel like
yes,
this is very timely. Um,
yes,
and I feel so good about that because I do love you guys and I do love the work that you do and the way you support men in recovery as well as the ladies over at Rising Roads. I have to totally
yes.
give them a shout out as well because
Well, because they're here, they're repping right now. And the men at Pace are probably ordering some sort of food right now and distracted. So, yeah,
ah,
yeah,
so wait hold on 1 second, Cookie. So I also say there's so many things that are happening in your life.
yes, yes,
So MBA.
yes. So first I'll say I'm Jordan Spektor, and if you didn't garner from the conversation so far, I work as director of business development for Pace and Rising Roads. Pace is an extended care for men 18 to 30 in Orange County, and Rising Roads is a female extended care also in Orange County. And yes, thank you, Becky.
Yeah,
And
of course. I
yeah,
love her.
and so I wanted to start off by that. I've been working in the field probably 7 or 8 years. And yeah, so when you bring up the MBA, I think where my head kind of goes is where I was around 9, 10 years ago when I was beginning my recovery journey. And it's so interesting. 2020 has been the craziest year I know that I can remember, and even my parents and my grandparents, like, can remember. So I know that this has been just a crazy year. And for me, this has probably been the best year of my life. So, which is, which is great. And I'm not complaining about it, but it's just, it's an interesting, um, time for me because we were supposed, so when I first got sober, I think, between when I went to rehab and when I was kind of yanked out of my environment, I went home for about 9 months to my parents' house, which was just a very, very bad move. But at the beginning of that, my dad
Not
said, "What do you
because
want to
it's
do?"
your parents' house.
No, just because I should have been in rehab earlier. Um, but what ended up happening was my dad took me to, he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to get my MBA." you know, and so he took me to Barnes and Nobles, which was a thing back then. And we went and got MBA books, and then followed by my prescription of Adderall and Xanax. So it was a dream of mine from the very beginning, ever since I graduated college, to get my MBA. But obviously there were other things that took priority, and that was messing around and drugging, drinking, and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And so now, fast forward to 2018, when I applied to go to school, it was monumental for me because, you know, some people have different dreams. Like I know people want to be, you know, in the NBA or actors or things like that. Speaking of actors, my brother just joined, so that's cool. And so for me, though, getting my MBA was a really, really important thing for me. And so I went back to school, I applied, got in, ended up with a 4.0, which is just crazy to think about, because when I sent them my transcript, it was like a reverse downhill slope when I was at undergrad at USC. And then to know that if I was clean and sober, and this is what we try to tell our guys who are younger, is like, if you just stay clean and sober and show up, you can do amazing things. And, you know, that's what I did. So I just showed up, went to every class, you know, did all my work, and then look what happened. 2020 was supposed to be like this huge thing. We were going to all go to Denver, my family, watch me walk, which obviously got canceled. So when I did graduate, I was thinking to myself, like, I really want to celebrate this on Facebook, but like it was like during the riots and COVID-19, and it was just such a tumultuous time. I was going to not post anything. And luckily Brittany, who I think is on here, talked me into sharing that post. And I'm really happy I did it, because it was a huge accomplishment.
And it was a feel-good moment, honestly.
Yeah.
You have so many people in the world that love you, and so when that came out, it really, I felt like people all over the country were sharing in your joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that I saw how hard you worked in, you know, just in your schoolwork and in your professional life. And
thank you.
So really was a good feeling to see that.
Thank you, Laurie. And then when you look back on it, it was basically going to, you know, when we were out working together or separately and seeing each other on the road and all that stuff, it was like you go, you work, and then you come back and write papers till the middle of the night. Right. And now, like, the last quarter was just at home the whole time. And it's just so amazing to me how much the world has changed, just based on the fact that there was so much going on before, and now, you know, it's just so much different. So yeah, I'm happy that I finished when I did, because, you know, it's definitely, you know, like, it was an interest, because the last quarter I took a class, an independent study on how COVID-19 affects business, health systems, and the U.S. population. So we were writing that during the actual outbreak, and I think that was also pretty heavy, because I would go from, oh my God, we're never going to come back from this, to, well, there's promise. And so it was a
little bit of promise.
It was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. And you mentioned that Brittany posted those pictures and celebrated that day.
Yes.
And tell us about that little ray of sunshine.
Yes, she's amazing. I'm very lucky to be with her. And we got together when I was in the middle of my MBA. And so I was telling her, it's like, I don't have that much time. And she didn't really mind that, which was great. And our relationship really flourished because she moved in, and then we've been quarantined together since March, and everything was, we get along very well, which is a really good sign. So I think where a lot of people were quarantined with, like when we were, researching the virus, the divorce rates were going up, domestic violence was going up, all of these things from people quarantined together. And luckily for us, it was literally the exact opposite. We got closer. And so for us, the actual quarantine turned out to be a very good thing. And I always thought in my head that I would propose to her after I got my MBA. So got my MBA, and then a month later proposed to her during the quarantine, which was supposed to be up in Seattle and on Whidbey Island with my family, and that got canceled. And getting a ring during coronavirus is very hard to do, because you're trapped next to the person. So the element of surprise was not as much as I wanted it to be, but I still was able to pull off a surprise and um, in our house, and so now we're engaged, and it's pretty amazing.
And I do remember, and I think we were driving around the Newport Beach area when you were talking to me about Brittany and how you said, like, you kind of can't believe that this amazing woman loves you so much. Like,
Yes, I know.
and it was just like, oh my God. Like, so my husband and I have kind of this joke, or not joke, but we talk about individuals who are son-in-law material, and I would say, like, Jordan Spektor, you are really son-in-law material.
Thank you.
So the idea that she loves you so much is, pretty clear to me. You really
Yeah,
are a spectacular human.
thank you. And I appreciate that, Laurie. And I think that that I've always had it in me. Like, if you ask my family, like, I think I'm back to how I was, like, in high school, which was, just my true self. And,
Hmm.
people go adrift. And so it hasn't always been like this, but I feel back. I feel great to be living, in integrity and authenticity, and just being my true self, um, which is nice. So thank you for saying that. And I love her family. They're amazing too. And it's been nice to be able to see them during quarantine because, my parents are up in Seattle. My dad is literally walking around in a hazmat suit, so he's not necessarily letting outsiders in yet. So when
Yeah.
we get him to that point, it'll be great to see him at some point. But it's so weird. I mean, no engagement parties, no toasts, no, like, we're trying to plan a wedding, but it's
Right.
just like, when will this end? Is it going to be 30 people? Is it going to be, all, as like, we love to throw big weddings in our culture, and
Right.
and so those are a thing of the past, and so everything is changing, and so we'll see what happens, but it's all very exciting.
It is. It's really great, and it's
Yeah,
wonderful to watch your little love affair blossom on Facebook because she's adorable, and you do look really happy together.
yeah. Thank you.
So, and tell me what's new in Pace and Rising Roads.
Well,
Anything
I see
crazy?
that Kamiko, Kristen, and Becky are here, which is
Hmm.
great. They're
Hold on,
they're
babes.
they're a true support system. But so wow. So what's new at Pace? I think with Pace and Rising Roads, I think the biggest challenge. So obviously during COVID-19, it's very hard to do anything, and so I think our biggest challenge and our biggest success is that we've just done what we had to do to make a job that was already hard. It got 10 times harder. And I think that everyone's just doubled down on safety and support and things like that. And so, we're abiding by the CDC guidelines. We are, we've changed the actual programming so that the groups are smaller and everything is more safe. And so right now, I think it's the time to just double down on what we're doing. And, Rising Roads has added an amazing school program actually run by a great case manager named Chelsea Gatula. You may have heard the name before. And
Sounds familiar.
yeah, and so they're doing amazing things. The girls are in there going to school. Rising Roads has actually expanded a lot in the last few months, and they're doing amazing work. And I think we're both hiring more staff because there's a need for our clients to have more support. So we've got some great new therapists. And yeah, I mean, I think, instead of adding houses, we're adding services. And I think that that's really important at this time because, it got hairy back there. There was a couple weeks where the phones were dead and we thought to ourselves, all of our clients come from out of state. They're going to shut down the
Right.
airlines. So I think just making sure that we're dialed in as programs is the most important thing now.
Yeah, and I also have a young lady that's over at Rising Roads, and what I really love about both of the programs is the communication and the updates and just staying in touch with the referents that got the clients there. That just so it's like when I make a referral to you guys, I really feel confident that they're in very good hands.
Yeah.
But the reassurance, just reading the notes, not so much that I'm questioning whether they're in good hands, but reading about their progress is it's just wonderful.
Well,
And
they're doing some cool stuff, and I don't want to say that we're copying Rising Roads, because if Lenny ever hears that we're copying Rising Roads, he'll say that they copied him.
oh, but of
But you
course,
know, they've been doing Zoom sessions with the families for 2 years now. So they have, you know, they've been, you know, we've had our family program, which
hi,
obviously
Kath.
I think family programs everywhere have kind of like gone virtual, but they've been doing Zoom sessions with clients, with the families, therapy sessions. And I think we moved in that direction as well, just because who knows the next time you can have an in-person family program,
Right.
you know, and so they were prepared for this in that regard from the very beginning. And also Kristen's here. So she's been, you know, we've had to pick up clients from, you know, nearby programs. And if they go on a plane, they have to come out, quarantine, test, the whole thing. So we've been actually going to nearby places and picking up clients who are coming into our program from Utah or Arizona at no charge to the family. And Kristen has gotten her amazing car out on the road, and she's been doing pickups. And so we've been, you know, adjusting and doing everything we can to keep
Right.
everyone safe everywhere. Because as an owner, and I'm sure Becky can agree with this, like she, you know, her hardest part of going to sleep at night is like just praying that, you know, the virus doesn't get to her girls or whoever around the program. And so we're doing everything we can to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I absolutely believe it. And
I
I
might have
got paused
stopped.
there
I
for a
don't know.
second.
Yeah.
Then my husband was calling. My husband was calling. My grandson is calling me. But I go, this is like real COVID life. But I'm so happy that you came on with me. Please send my love to Lenny and Becky and
I
Kristen
will.
and all the women at Rising Roads, all the staff at Pace. You guys
Yes.
are amazing. I miss your faces. I'm so happy your life is so beautiful. You
Thank
so
you.
deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you for
So
having me.
good to see you.
And yeah, this was a fun first Instagram live experience.
You did awesome. Take care. Bye.